Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks? When that social post sends engagement through the roof? When your outside-of-the-box campaign hits ROI positive? When a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at Contentful.com.
I had an epiphany, guys.
Epiphany Jones.
I know we've been doing this podcast a long time, over 100 episodes now at this point, but sometimes you need to take a step back, clear your head, and then you can make a very important connection. So I ask you, Tom, how many letters are there in basketball?
BASKETBALL. That's 10.
I mean, how many letters are there in Illuminati?
ILLUMINATI. It's also 10.
Put them together, that's 20, right?
Yeah.
20, yeah.
And we say basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati 3 times. Keep your third eye open.
Yes.
20/20/20 vision.
Wow. Not even 20/20 vision. We have 20/20/20 vision.
We've been doing it the whole time, too.
20/20 vision wasn't enough, but to have 20/20/20 vision.
It's been there. Crystal clear. We've been saying 3 times, keep your third eye open, 20/20/20 vision. So now we got a new slogan. Put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, fire up that merch store again.
My assignment. Uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
So you've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, and as always, I am joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals, Amin El Hassan and producer Anthony Mays.
Members of the Illumination can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/countthedings. You can also show your support by wearing a third eye hat or a Basketball Illuminati shirt or hoodie. Check out the link in the show notes or go to the Count the Dings store on Cotton Bureau and keep that third eye open.
If you haven't watched or listened to Pablo Torre Finds Out, the latest episode, a crossover episode with Basketball Illuminati, Tom the Finder, we did an investigation into the Malik Beasley story that will blow your mind. Because it blew my mind while I was reporting it, and judging by the response to the story, it did it for the audience as well. Amin is halfway through this episode. We have come to learn.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he was in it. So I guess he doesn't have to technically watch.
I don't listen to podcasts all in one sitting. It's all like while I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm in the shower. I'm in the car. This is how I do it. And so it takes me a while.
But the words "my assignment," there's a voice by a one Pablo Torre, and he's going to join us here shortly to talk about a little debrief about our episode and kind of what's going to happen next, what we think about this story and Malik Beasley.
And also some things that didn't make the cut.
Oh,
BTS?
Yeah, the director's cut.
Snyder cut.
It's like a director's commentary for your PTFO episode.
That is coming up. You know what? Right now.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause. Even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the tailors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
All right, so I know that we did a good job based on the fact that on Twitter, on YouTube, people are texting me, where are the Epstein files? Where's Jimmy Hoffa? That's how I know that we did some reporting on this story.
That's funny. That's what you got for the internet. I got Mello didn't do it. I'm like, what are you guys talking about Mello? I'm like, why is everyone talking about Mello?
Your Honor, he daps up a lot of people. He daps up strangers who may be under a federal investigation semi-regularly. This is nothing unusual.
Yeah.
You got to watch out who you dap up. Let me just say that right now.
Let that be a lesson. One of many lessons. By the way, here's another lesson, Amin. Why is Tom wearing children's headphones?
I thought those were just kind of like, hey, I'm a fun, quirky guy. You know, I work at a startup somewhere in Silicon Valley.
I think someone is hacking into my AirPods. I think that's what's happening.
Free Tom's headphones.
Yeah, free Tom's headphones underscore NBA. Yeah.
Free Bose. Can Tom literally get free Bose headphones?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's start that campaign. Pablo, it's been 24 hours since this dropped on Pablo Torre Finds Out, our investigation into the Malik Beasley investigation and story. Maze, you're on vacation, but you might have been looped in on this too. So, Amin, what do we want to talk about today on this story?
I want to talk about how I don't think he did it. We didn't talk about it on the episode. Malik Beasley.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't talk about it much on the episode because it was more about the journey. But as I sat back thinking about it, I'm like, guys, I don't think he did it. I think this is just.
What is it? We got to be specific now.
It is. I don't think he is. I don't think he's dumping games. This is the term. I don't think he's manipulating.
I thought you were going to say his cameo in Medea's family reunion, which
I don't think he did that either.
Proved
I don't think he did that either.
Cutting room floor.
Yeah, Maze. Yeah. We actually had to watch Medea's family reunion.
When you say we, you did?
Well, I went back and I watched it. Yes.
Oh, you did. You ultimately did. Xenophobe.
Because you know why?
Because like Malik Beasley, Amin Al-Hassan just does dumb shit for the love of the game.
Yeah, I couldn't accept what the fact checker said, which is they couldn't find it. So I went back and watched it myself.
Wow.
Sure enough, man.
Well, we didn't have a Cinephobe episode last week, so Amin filled that void by watching a Cinephobe caliber movie for a different podcast. That's so nice.
The streak continues. But yeah, it was just like when I thought of everything, all the reasons why people thought he did it. And then when I examined those reasons carefully through the curation, the creation, and ultimately the posting of the pod episode, like I really thought to myself, like, holy shit, this guy's just the wrong place, wrong time, and the world is convinced of his guilt. And I just thought that was kind of an unfortunate place to be for him.
I don't know, Tom, if we have the same exact view on this. My view is that in the episode, we lay out a roadmap of all of the evidence we could nail down, like actually journalistically nail down, which is why, by the way, we did not put this on the episode, although I welcome the conversation here genuinely, because this is Basketball Illuminati, and there are theories to be made here. And this is exactly what I was hoping to talk about. I just don't think we know yet. I think there is a strong case as for why he didn't. But Tom,
did not or did it?
Sorry, did not.
Okay.
Did not. Jonte Porter this, to use the shorthand. But I can also tell you that, Tom, on our on our Signal chat, which got so long that I had to use the search function. You know, a group chat's getting out of control when I got to search function it to get the things I know we talked about.
Yeah.
The pendulum was swinging, and I was very convinced at one point that he was definitely not Jonte Portering. Then I was like, uh-oh. And
this doesn't look good. Yeah.
And now I'm kind of dangling, swaying, able to be swayed by evidence as our journalistic operation, of course, continues.
Well, what's clear is that he was financially vulnerable, right? In ways that Jonte Porter was also financially vulnerable. According to court documents, he was in gambling debts to Amar Awade, who's a character in this story that we did for Pablo's show. And so the idea of like, why would someone who's in the NBA making millions of dollars ever think about corrupting his performance with a bet and try to rig it on a prop or on a game? And as we were doing this reporting, Amin, when I said, the agent is coming after him, like his former agent, Daniel Hassan, has filed a complaint asking for $2.2 million. And Amin goes, is there a divorce involved here?
I said, I think there's a divorce, because I remembered him having a high profile dalliance despite him being married at the time. This was during COVID. What I forgot was the reason why it was a high profile. I thought it was because it happened in the bubble. He was one of the guys that got caught messing around in the bubble. Turns out, no, it wasn't that. It was he had an affair with Larsa Pippen. And that brought everything right back to Pablo's world, right?
We needed the national Larsa Pippen correspondent. Yes.
She hasn't responded, incidentally. I await her truth. I await her truth now that she has cleared her COVID brain.
That's sweet of you to be so patient and understanding of her time, and wait for that long sought after response. Can I present my understanding from what you guys, all the work that you guys did?
Please.
Yes.
Right when Malik Beasley lost out on the contract, we recorded something for this show, pretty sympathetic to him, saying that he got hosed by the timing of the news being released, the way that Terry Rozier's news was released, and they still have not charged him with anything, even though, as you guys pointed out in the show, Sham saying that he was cleared was inaccurate. Now we've had Chris Haynes, notably, reporting that he's not cleared. It's still ongoing.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I love Haynes. He's a Filipino rec league MVP in the Bay Area. Yeah. We also clearly reported this before him. I just wanted to put that on the record in case anybody cares. For the record.
Let me just say this.
You didn't put a graphic out, Pablo, so.
I know. I really regretted it, honestly. We could have had some great graphics. And we did none of them. We did none of them for this, and that was a mistake.
That's for next time.
We spent it all on Medea Capital. All of the efforts and resources
the
went
cinematic
to
universe was
exhaustively
explored.
Did you know that Malik Beasley's his mom, his dad, his grandfather are all actors?
Learning that his grandfather is the dad from the Mighty Ducks, the dad of Jussie Smollett. by the way.
Yes.
in the
Oh,
Mighty
was that-
Ducks.
What?
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Jesse Hall is Jussie Smollett?
Yes.
What?
Oh, well, no, not Jesse Hall. The other kid.
Tyler?
Tyler.
No.
Yeah. Terry.
Terry Hall.
Yeah.
Terry. Yeah.
Terry Hall.
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't make it to D2.
I was going to say that Jordan Bombay knew that this kid was going to get into some stuff, and he was like, eh.
But yeah, that was a revelation. That was something I found out from this. But in the aftermath, I was immediately sympathetic to Malik Beasley. Then I thought that the story would die, but no. Then all of the fiduciary debts that he has started coming out, and I was really disappointed in you, especially Pablo, that you didn't solve what the $26,000 for the haircuts and the $37,000 were at the dentist were for.
Tom is on this one. Tom has an explanation, a reported explanation, I believe.
What has been described to me by someone who has knowledge of these sort of debts in the NBA is that it's not that he has a $26,000 debt to a barber or a dentist for that dental work or for that haircut. It's that maybe he had a $500 debt and he was not paying it. He wasn't paying his bill.
I get that.
And then what do? You get a lawyer involved.
But and you can't go to court for a debt under $25,000. You have to go to small claims court. So there won't be any like legal fees until you get to a certain level.
Right. And so once you cross over into that level, then attorney fees, interest on that principal, there's a default judgment. And normally how these things are settled is like literally like your money guy or your agent or your lawyer calls up the barber shop and says, hey, I know we're on the hook for X. Can we do a deal for Y? And so that's how it gets to 26,000 is that once lawyers come in for lawyer fees, it becomes a whole new animal. And so I think that I don't know that to be sure.
A moose, perhaps? Sorry, I was on delay with the animal thing. I was like, sorry, just like you.
I was like, what? A moose? Like a moose boosh? And then I was even going the other way. So I think that's more likely is what happened here is that like once they hired a lawyer and the interest and all that stuff, it ballooned from from there. But you're so saying that all of these things, you're like, I don't think I can be so sympathetic.
The fiduciary details did go the other way. Right now we're saying, okay, Malik Beasley is not handling his money. This is somebody who could be susceptible to a Jonte Portering situation. But now, then I kind of backtracked on that. I'm like, that doesn't, like, if he had just gotten this contract, my man would have been able to pay off those debts. So now he's extra screwed because now he can't even pay off these debts because this story leaked. But Moose implicating him is what has now brought me all the way back. Moose saying
that's the right. That is I think a very good take, Maze. If I may compliment you for having a take similar to my take.
Okay, Dr. Ross.
The Moose changes things. Moose scrambles
the Moose
this.
is in the house at him dropping the asterisks, and connecting Porter, Rozier, and Beasley in January is now the thing that I don't have the answer for it. If there is any sort of intel coming through Moose's jail cell that has now allowed him to even throw that out there.
You're saying the cartoon version of a Moose behind a jail cell, his
Correct.
Twitter profile picture is
Correct.
what you're saying. Yes.
His antlers picked up a frequency, and that is what he distributed to the internet. So now I don't know what. Now I'm suspicious of Malik Beasley again. I'm sorry. I was in your corner, man. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
I took it a different way. I as we learn more about Moose, I realized that Moose is an OLI. He's on the outside looking in. Albeit he has a window to look in to what's
he's
happening.
an ILO.
What's up?
He's on the inside looking out.
Oh, no.
At the world from his jail cell.
No. Okay, so he's on the outside looking in, and where he's looking in from is from a jail cell.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Got it.
So, but he's not in. Like the actual shit that's happening, The group that's doing this stuff, he's not in the group.
So this is where this is why this story is so fun and torturous and hard for the federal government to investigate as well as I think the three of us did. Because you're right. I mean, look, plausibly, what Amin is saying is that there is enough incentive fundamentally for a guy like Moose to just trump up the amount that he knows when maybe he's just drinking the runoff gossip from the guys he clearly is, per our reporting, related to that were actually implicated directly in a federal investigation involving Jonte Porter. He has reason to lie. He can profit off of the lie. We established in the episode the meme coin. We established the Discord, the gambling picks, the selling of them.
But
all of it
profit
is
off the lie. I don't even think it's a lie. The fact that Malik Beasley is going to be the next one you're going to hear about, which is what he tweeted and wanted the world to know, is that first it was Jonte. This was the tweet. First it was Jonte. Then it was Terry Rozier. Next will be M 4 stars, B 6 stars. And then followed up right after that with, I can't say who it is, but I'll just say the next person who's going to be coming out under federal investigation. He plays for the Detroit Pistons, which eliminates. I'm a little bummed out, Pablo, that the Modest Buzelis name didn't show up in the edit because there's 4 players.
We had to really cut some good stuff, man. That was one. So explain it, please. This is some good cutting room floor.
So we do this show, a segment on this show called Code Breakers. And so it was perfect for Code Breakers is that like he's tweeting out 4 asterisks after the M and then 6 asterisks after the B. All right, well, let's play Hangman real quick. Like, how many names in the NBA can fulfill that Hangman little game? And it's 4. It's Mikal Bridges, it's Miles Bridges, and it's Modest Buzelis. So, and then Malik Beasley, of course. So then when he follows up with the Detroit Pistons tweet, then it's like, oh, okay, he wants to make sure that people know that it's Malik.
So that was not the lie. You're right. It's a great clarification. The question I have is when along the sequence of events that triggers a federal investigation, could there be a lie? And so, for instance, we also exhaustively looked into how all of this is stemming from at least, well, really, it's the one and only game, Tom, that had unusual betting activity that January, which was
reported to ESPN. Yep.
Flagged by a betting service in the United States, the Dame Lillard return game, Blazers, Bucks. And it was a lot of money coming in, unusually a lot, flagged by the said service, on the unders on rebounds for Malik Beasley. And he hammers the over in terms of his play, right? And so the question is, like, where does that come from? And that's the real question to me, guys. Why were people betting unusually often on that game and that statistic, that prop bet, when Malik Beasley had one of the great rebounding games of his life? That to me is the thing at the center of all of the questions here.
Why did so many people bet the under, and why were they wrong? Why were they so wrong?
Correct.
That they had the inside.
Do we know who bet the over?
Some have theorized, and these are all in the realm now of theory. I just got an email from somebody who's like, I'm a gambler, and let me tell you something that I think could happen based on my experience is that there's a rug pull. The meme coin language, right? So look, we should say that. I'm glad we're saying that here. A possibility is that this was a rug pull, meaning someone made off like a bandit and everyone else lost. And the winner here would have known that Malik Beasley was going to hit the over. The losers would have been everybody else, the public, so to speak, that went in on the under and got rug pulled. That is certainly one option that implicates Malik Beasley in a real way.
And I was ready when the Malik Beasley news came out. I was like, oh, this is a game in which he pulled himself out early with a fake injury like Jonte Porter. But the fact that the game that was flagged was January 31st, where he played a full game. I was like, wait, so what is the allegation here? And then the fact that the money came in on the opposite side of the bet that actually cashed, I was like, man, this is not a straight story like the Jonte one was. The Jonte one was they knew that he was going to pull out of the game allegedly, and so they put in these bets on the under for Jonte Porter, multiple games. And one of the bettors put down $80,000 on a Jonte Porter under, parlayed it, and ended up with a $1.2 million payout, which is nuts. It's nuts. But he left the game early to clinch those bets. And that is not what happened in this instance of the January 31st one. So it just kind of throws a wrench in this whole thing.
Well, Tom, didn't the Jonte Porter, the $80,000 bet, that took place before January 31st? Correct?
26th. January 26th.
So 5 days before, and it got flagged, and they didn't get the payout. Right?
For the record, I don't know if it was the January 26th. It could be the March 20th game. The 80,000 could be the March 20th game. But the point is that you're making, and something that we pieced together at the 11th hour before we recorded this last week, is the Jonte first game that the authorities had flagged as being part of this scheme. The first game was January 26th. The Malik Beasley game that was flagged by the betting service, the gambling service, was 5 days later. They're literally the same week. So I didn't really think about the Malik Beasley thing being in the same realm or the same timeline as the Jonte Porter one. And then, it's 5 days away. It's 5 days. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but it just is the fact that this was all swirling around in the same 10-day span has to be looked at. No doubt. So now I'm like, another thing that's different than Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier was under contract.
Yeah, look, this is where we can, just to reiterate, here's where I think Malik Beasley got jobbed by the universe. Timing. It's unbelievably dramatic that this comes out on the eve of free agency when he is obviously financially screwed otherwise, seemingly by his own design, but nonetheless, this is, again, just in terms of stakes, right? What are the stakes here? He basically was hours away from solving his problems, so to speak.
Damn.
And
you put it like that.
And now he has more. He has yet more problems that are involving literal jail time. So, yeah, man, Terry Rozier, by contrast, look, and we had this conversation too while we were reporting this, which was if Malik Beasley, if whatever happened to Malik Beasley, stuff including the stuff that we don't know happened, but just presuming in totality, whatever Rozier is dealing with in totality, and Malik Beasley is dealing with in totality. If Beasley was going through that mid-season, would he be playing right now? That's an interesting question.
Well, yeah. If all of this, if this news had arrived today, we're recording this July 16th, he'd have $42 million guaranteed. And would it be stressful? Would he be worried about with the investigate? Sure. But the checks would still be clearing. In the same way for Terry Rozier, that even as today, we know he has yet to be cleared by the federal government. At no point did he miss time, and at no point did he get stop payment from the Miami Heat. And I think that's the thing about the Malik Beasley thing, is that regardless of whether he's innocent or guilty, is that the timing had to have been deliberately to deep six a free agency thing. Because the other thing is also, if this were announced earlier, there's a chance that there'd be enough clarity by July that the Pistons would have offered something. Maybe not 42, but certainly not 0.
Yeah, the dust would have settled a little bit. I was also curious because I think it was for the rent suit that he owed money to Dan Gilbert, of all people, that his wages from the Pistons were being garnished. So the Pistons were obviously pretty aware of this situation. And so that was more
that's a good question.
evidence to support my theory that the Pistons were like, can this story come out before we sign this dude?
Okay, so this is a good question. If Malik Beasley didn't have the Parade of Homes arrest, which if you don't know what that is, again, if you haven't watched it, stop this pod and go watch the show.
There's so much in this that could be footnoted, really. Yeah.
If the Parade of Homes incident doesn't happen, if the Larsa Pippen thing doesn't happen, and if we're just looking at Malik Beasley, the basketball player, and him making 319 3-pointers, which is more than Stephen Curry last year and second in the NBA, and he finished second in Sixth Man of the Year, and none of the off-court issues exist, how much money is Malik Beasley getting this summer? Because the Detroit Pistons already know about all that stuff, and yet they were reportedly... and from what I could tell in my reporting, they were ready to give him in the ballpark of $40 million contract. But that was knowing about all the other stuff. And so it's like they know that he's got this checkered past. Otherwise, he's not getting a $6 million deal last year, right? And even
the thing, though, here's another thing, though, that I think we realized in the course of reporting this. And this speaks directly to the Eastern District of New York, which may be the party least happy to have listened to this episode in some ways. Because the feds, as well as the NBA, GMs, prosecutors, FBI agents, it's just jarring how nobody really seems to have a great handle on this. Genuinely, just like the lack of information by people... The lack of information belonging to people who you'd think would have cased the joint, who would have done everything that we thought. I mean, frankly, I came into this thinking we're retracing someone else's investigation.
Right.
It turned out we were opening up new worlds. And that's the part. Yeah. And that's again, and the episode, it sort of drives towards a conclusion that I don't want to step on here because I think the payoff is worth it. But you kind of need to be a person who is an NBA maniac to fully get how this might have gone and all of its possibilities. And that's the argument we make most conclusively. But everything about so what really happened, well, it relies on yet more information that nobody has still.
It's akin to tampering. We know what tampering is. How do you actually prove someone tampered? Right? Even with phone records. Well, you called each other a lot of times. What was that about, right? But without the actual either A, the recording, or B, black and white or blue bubble, green bubble, whatever you want to call it, text messages saying, oh, let's do this. You really can't prove it, right? And that's what ultimately Jontay Porter, his behavior and all sorts of things raised red flags. He certainly had the profile of someone who'd be susceptible. But at the end of the day, that's not what got Jontay Porter. What got him is, hey guys, my eye hurts. I think I'm gonna sit out this. That's the stuff that got him hemmed up. And for Beasley, I think that's the thing that again I kept coming back to, where maybe that's what I should have said. I don't think he's gonna get caught on it without any sort of communication that would indicate that he was complicit with this.
Well, this is what Adam Silver said. Yeah, this is what Adam Silver said yesterday at his press conference, was the government has more access to more information than what we can do in our investigations. And that's what you're talking about, right? Is through subpoenas or some sort of court orders, they can access cell phone records and conversations and documentation that the NBA just don't have that kind of power. And so I think what Adam Silver was getting at is we have only so much that we can, buttons that we can press to investigate Jontay Porter or investigate Malik Beasley. Without the cell phone records and the text messages and email or any sort of trace on that, it's going to be hard to, because this is the thing where I think early on when we were reporting this, Pablo, I kind of felt like we were going to spend a lot more time on how difficult it is to prove that someone on a basketball court is throwing a game.
Right.
Yeah. And as one coach I talked to said, if what Malik Beasley did in that game that was flying around the internet is a crime, then every NBA player is is a criminal, because like players make mistakes all the time in games that only post hoc you can say, oh, now that we know that he's under a federal investigation, this is evidence that he's on the take. But it's so hard to prove. Like, how do you prove?
There's also, I mean, look, to get philosophical about it, right? This is about incentives. And this is about structural incentives that you have set out that tempt people into doing stuff that compromises the integrity of your product, which you believe, or at least advertise, to be paramount. And so one of the funny things in this, to Tom's point just then about like talking to these coaches who are like, look, yeah, this isn't smoking gun stuff, these clips, is because every NBA player from a financial perspective has incentives to stat pad already.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's even without escalator clauses. And that is inherently, you could argue, a divergence from the incentives of your employer. And so when it comes to that, really what we're dealing with is just this, we're at every point in here, except for, you could argue, the Jonte Porter, which becomes not so much gray as it is black and white, or green and blue, as Amin was saying. You have him texting, hey guys, or this is a paraphrase, hey guys, you might get RICO'd. Which is one of the great all-time quotes in like a group chat, which became true, you know?
Did he send it with the slam effect? You know, or like the screen confetti, one of those?
An emoji, yeah.
It reminded me of the scene from Role Models where Elizabeth Banks is a lawyer, and she's talking to her client, says, I think we should do a plea deal. And he says, a plea deal for what? I'm innocent. And she says, they got you on camera. And they show him on camera with this warehouse full of crates. And he says, that didn't even look like me. And then the guy says on camera, on tape, who would have thought? Me, John Jacobs, whatever his name is.
David Garvin.
David Garvin stealing VCRs. Like, that's exactly what it was. It was like, Jonte Porter, who would have thought? Me, Jonte Porter, in a RICO for throwing games. For a bunch of gamblers. Oh, man.
It's a wild, wild story. And the people that I talk to around the league are just like, yeah, this is like, there was a person I talked to today who was like, I had to watch your episode like 3 times to just wrap my head around how crazy this story is. And this is the person who's been in the league for a long time. And this particular story is taking the cake. It is.
That's what's so satisfying, Tom. Like, so you're talking about you led with like, what have you been hearing? And it's like the most, what I have been satisfied by as somebody who is not, Mays is clearly the most fluent in gambling among all of us. His insights have already indicated that he is very aware of how
he might actually be a part of this that we don't know.
Yeah, Mays might actually be on the group chats. I'm not somebody who's like actively, you know, no judgment at all.
Don't use me as a way to distance yourself from your gambling past, Pablo.
Your Honor, I'm just saying I'm a different guy. No, what I've been hardened by is that the most hardcore, degenerate, and frankly just like skilled gamblers that I know, that I've gotten to know in this business, have reached out to say, like, holy shit, like, you guys nailed that. This is resonating with me as somebody who lives in this world. And that's the part where I'm like, you guys' world is
the mazes of the world,
crazy.
You're saying. Yeah.
I don't know why you're reading my text message to you.
I'm pointing at the at Maze perpetually as I'm making that.
So, Pablo, I'm not done listening to the episode. I'm midway through, but
come on, what are you?
You're not even watching it?
I have a family.
What a flex.
No, I listen.
What a flex.
I listen. I can't.
What a flex.
I mean, can you give us a couple Arabic pronunciations? That was your starring role.
No, but I did the poker game get play in there?
Yeah.
Did we get to the poker
Pablo's
game?
source,
Pablo's source in the poker game. I think that was my favorite inside source of everything in here. Right,
dude,
that there's a guy who's involved in some high stakes underground poker game, and he's played with some of these characters, and it's just like,
my first instinct was Toby Maguire and Pablo having a nice little chat on the side.
So Molly's game came up as a reference point, certainly. Someone at Jim Jimson Jr. on Twitter just said to me in my mentions, "This is Nick Wright," and I was like, "It is not Nick Wright," but good guess. No, sometimes, look, what I've learned in the world of just like reporting on random things, which is the only way I can categorize the genre that I work in at this point, is just random things. Sometimes the universe just smiles at you and you're like, hey, if you make enough calls, you might realize that this guy that you've known for a long time, or gal that you've known for a long time, has personal experience that will be helpful.
Well, now that we got Maze and Amin here, John Beasley and Michael Beasley and Dina Beasley, we had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like I said, that was the biggest revelation. That sounds sad, right?
As the co-host of Cinephobe, there's no greater revelation.
Because even when you said, did you know he comes from a family of actors and Hollywood royalty or whatever, I thought like, okay, so they've had some bit roles here and there or whatever. But then when I realized, oh, that's a dude from Eastbound and Down, the season when they're doing the best damn sports show, period. That's Malik Beasley's dad? Like, that shit is crazy. Like,
we have to cut that out. We have to cut out the Eastbound thing. I know.
Oh, my
I know.
God.
There's just too much. Dude, that's what I mean. It's too much.
What was the recording session? It was like 4 hours.
I know. We taped. I mean, honestly, I should leak the full recording.
Oh. PTFO BTS.
I mean, there is just more than we could ask for people to
I'm very
just
upset
consume.
that How Are You Doing on This Fine Tuesday made it into the final cut. I'm very upset about this.
That was 100% always going to be in there.
That was A1. That was just like, of all things, we have to keep that in there.
So
Tom's phone calls.
So good. That's my favorite part. My favorite part of this whole thing. Because it's the best when you get the person you need to confront journalistically on tape. There is just, it's speaking of stakes, right? The tension is real. This is real life. It's real fucking life, right? People say this is true crime. I'm like, yes, but it's more than that. It's like an actual live unfolding story. So in that way, I'm like, the juice in there is so immediate and visceral. The second thing is Tom, the interviewer.
Yeah.
Trying to, what up?
Yeah, Steve Buscemi, how are you doing, fellow kids, or whatever it is, like the meme. I'm like, I didn't know what kind of personality I'm getting. I just know his tweets, right?
You handled it in a way that got us exactly what we needed, and so you crushed it. But it was mean, and I love doing this when we play the journalism for our friends live, so to speak, on the show. Me and Amin's immediate reaction was just like cracking up because it's you doing this sort of persona, and it's so good.
Hey, so how about those Knicks?
All right, so when he started like, hey, what's going on, my man? When he called me my man, I was like, wow, he has no idea. You know, he has no idea what is about to happen here, because the fact that he agreed to the interview, A, and then B was like, hey, my man, what's going on? It just seems like he thought he was going to pull one over on me, you know, where it was like, he was totally cool. Like, he was just like, hey, man, yeah, working at an auto shop. And then he starts opening up, and then it becomes like, I know people. I know people in the gambling world and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, he's just going, you know?
So Tom, that was the text that I got the most from people, which was, why did this guy answer the phone? I'm still flabbergasted about that.
I feel like Jonte Portered it.
Well, to that point, here's the reason that I was like, I think Tom should interview this guy, and why we had that conversation was because I had a sense, because as the Discord is sort of clear, like hoops, gambling, crypto, right? This is all about a guy selling his big shottedness to others, inside information to others, and then rug pulling, right? That's kind of like the basic premise of these things. And The other thing we had to cut because I quote it too much on my show is something that we did talk about, and it's the Big Short line. When they're going to investigate on the ground floor of the mortgage crisis, and one of the guys turns to his other guy who is a fellow visitor investigating this, and he goes, "Why are they confessing?" And his fellow visitor says, "He's not confessing, he's bragging." And that was definitely the energy of any of these meme coin, crypto, gambling hoops people, it turns out. And so he had done stuff like this before, and he flew so close to the sun, it turns out. And the sun has been characterized in other texts I've gotten as Tom's been called Lex Luthor, by the way, which I think is a compliment.
Yeah.
I think it's a compliment now. I think it's a compliment now.
Yeah, Superman's cool again, Tom.
Yeah. I think I know the reference. Yeah.
Oh no, he's like a hot Lex Luthor. So that's a compliment to Tom.
All right, I'm in. I love it. But I think also to that point, Pablo, is he's on his burner account tweeting at people after Malik Beasley's name comes up on ESPN.
Thank you. That's the one.
And he's like, yo, don't forget who had this. Look at these tweets. Don't forget. From his burner account. It wasn't from Free Moose NBA. He was reminding people from his third account.
This guy? Who did it?
So
that's who.
Why did he pick up the phone? Well, it's the same mentality of why he's reminding people from 5 months ago. Deleted tweets. These are screen grabs that he's sending to people because he deleted his Twitter. And so that kind of mentality, why would he pick up the phone? Why would he tell me this stuff? It's all part of the same mentality of like, he wants people to know how close he was to this thing.
You know what? I would want nothing more right now than to be a fly in the group chat between Moose and Ammar. I would love they must have come down on that dude like a ton of bricks, like you motherfucker, right? Especially the way we lay it all out, like how we found this dude, how we traced him, all the paper trail, the glorious missteps, and then finally, he picked up the phone. It's like the paper trail alone would have been bad enough, but then he picks up the phone.
We had an episode without the phone call. The phone call, as always, it's always about reporting and getting good tape. You know, in this genre of random things. Look, by the way, I have one of my favorite Easter eggs that we didn't call attention to because again, too much to call attention to, is that, and God, we hadn't even mentioned that we find, and all of this is happening like even after the episode is taped, right? Tom is still at it. And so we're getting these like updates about like, oh, I think I know who this guy is. And we found this video, we found this thing. So we find a video. Tom identifies a video in which it is not just Moose, but also, spoiler alert, a key other third guy in the episode, who is another relative, Omar, going to a Knicks game. And Omar is, again, like a media. He's an aspiring media guy, and he's doing a vlog. So we have two vlogs in the episode, by the way. Malik Beasley is vlogging, and so is the guy who maybe is responsible in some way for the implication of Malik Beasley in some, whatever, proxy fashion or by degrees. So this guy, Omar, he's vlogging. And over his shoulder, this is about why I have human feelings about what happens to Moose. I mean, over the guy's shoulder, he has a Deezus and Mero bobblehead.
Yeah.
Like a Showtime era Deezus and Mero bobblehead, which means, in the way of the universe, again, winking at all of us, my show, which is in part produced by former employees of Deezus and Mero, they edited something in which their show's merch was like in the background of one of the characters who is implicated. It's just like, I mean, like Knicks fans who love Deezus and Mero, like, I'm also related to people like that, you know? On that level.
Imagine if you were put on blast, but the people who put you on blast were like the creators of Andor or Always Sunny. Like you're watching an Always Sunny episode of like, holy shit, they're talking about me.
Dude. Again, the way that this is a story about the NBA internet, and the way that all of it is existing in the mania of this universe. Look, people. Again, I was talking to Rob Perez. He was like, "Yeah, I remember Omar."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "But these are people
Wait,
who were
Moose
around."
or Omar?
Omar, the
vlogger. Yeah,
he recognized. I mean, look, Moose was in his mentions, but Omar apparently is a person he had recognized upon seeing the video as well.
Yeah.
So it's just all to say that. And by the way, it's just, it's all. It's.
I mean, they were figures in they were figures in the entire Knicks Twitter world. Like when this story drops, so many people I've seen are like, "Man, I remember Moose. I remember that dude."
Yo, did you guys see the person? Tom, I think you dealt with this person directly, but the person who was like, "I took those screenshots." and she was like,
screenshots.
And again, I'm in the comments, so I don't. This is not reporting, but she was like, "The reason I took those screenshots is because he made fun of these cookies I baked and I posted them online or something."
No,
dude, it's crazy.
way.
It's just like the way that this stuff gets saved. It's like there was some personal beef maybe around Moose. Again, this is now I'm slandering all these people potentially, but like, yes, look into it. Look into it. It's.
Oh no, there was someone who's like, "That's a rug pull, my guy," and it was such good. Remember the tweet that we pulled up that was like, "That's called a rug pull, my guy." That tweet, that reply had 2 views on it. 2. And it's such good tape.
I love it when that happens. You see the view count and you're like, wow. It's kind of like being an explorer. And you're like, no one's... No, do I get to name this? Do I get to name this after myself?
Yeah. You know, like what's his name? Lewis and Clark, right? Like as they're going along the Oregon Trail, they're like, "Hey, motherfucker, guess what? We're gonna have a college here. It's gonna be named after us. We're gonna call this town this, and Lewistown, Clarksville. You know, oh man, it is. I think that was the part where it got serious. Isn't the word? It got scary. Isn't the word? It was just a little bit like, wait a second, what's happening here? The air got thin. Is that realizing we were on the stuff that the federal government was not onto? Like you said,
that
earlier,
we know of. Sure.
Like you said, Pablo. Like the idea that we're not retracing someone else's footsteps. We are exploring a new world here, a new ground that no one has walked on. And Tom, the reason why I say that, yes, you're right, technically, that we know of. But the reason I say that is because Moose is at least implying through his words and actions that he was in on the Jonte Porter stuff too. And posted evidence of a betting slip that would indicate knowledge that Jonte Porter was someone that was on the fix, right? And yet was not implicated in any way in that investigation. And to the point where we talked about, this was a central part of our episode. The events that the government kept referring to was the January 26th game.
Mm-hmm.
But the betting slip that Moose posted was from January 22nd, the game where Jonte Porter first suffers an eye injury.
And I'll put that in air quotes, suffers, because
allegedly.
I wasn't able to find the moment when he got poked in the eye and there was no visible bruise, cut, what have you. And then he's texting in the court documents. The authorities have like a text exchange where he's like, "I just got my eye looked at. I don't think I'm going to play much more." I'm paraphrasing. And yeah, did they not? I mean, that's something that I've thought about is, are we the first one to bring up that whole Jonte Porter betting slip as like a key piece of evidence in this? You know, because that's a big deal. Is that he's bragging that we had a $500 bet on Jonte Porter unders in the game before the game.
Right.
That cashed.
Right.
Could that possibly have been something that was just not important enough to mention?
I don't know.
I feel like it feels like something, regardless of whether Moose himself would have been implicated or not.
Can I just say that I'm very upset that I called Pablo yesterday for something, and he immediately picks up the phone and he says, "How are we doing on this fine Tuesday?"
What's up, my man?
Well, it was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday, and I'm so mad.
It's all I'm gonna say to Tom.
I walked into that one. Yeah.
All that was missing was that you wearing like a trench coat and reading a newspaper, and then just like poking your head above the newspaper. How are we doing on this fine Tuesday? With a Groucho Marx mask on.
Yeah. Basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati.
Oh
Say it 3 times.
My third eye's never been more open.
The rule of 3.
That's right.